everybody. Welcome back to What You Don't See. We have Eli here again with us. If you've seen our previous episodes with Eli, they performed really well. A lot of girls wanted to hear from Eli, so we brought him back. And today we're going to do something a little different. He is going to interview us.
Yes.
So, would you say that this episode is sort of like for the guys?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So this is like for the guy, because most of our episodes is like women, like this is for the girls. You know what I mean? This is for the girls to listen to. This one is kind of for the guys.
And we do have a pretty big male audience.
We do, yeah. So this one's for you guys.
We even have a hate mail audience because we got some hate comments.
We do get some hate comments, but all comments
we got hate
are good.
comments. Why do men hate? Okay, well, that's another episode.
Yeah, I mean, this is
a guys episode. We're not going to go into that right now.
Any engagement is good engagement.
Yeah, it's true.
Agreed.
Bad press is
80% hate you, 20% love you.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
It doesn't.
80-20
as long as they're commenting, I don't care what they're saying. I don't care what they're saying, as long as they're commenting. So
exactly. Thank you so much for the comments.
Yes. So this episode is for the guys. Eli is going to sort of ask us questions, and the theme is what women want.
What women want, exactly.
What do women want? We don't know what we want.
I know what I want.
I feel like as a whole, I know what I want. You're confused?
I'm still confused.
No, I think I know.
You already
what you
have
want.
your boundaries. You're not confused anymore.
Yeah, you're not.
No. I haven't boundaries, but I'm like, okay, do I want?
I know what you want.
What do I want?
I know what Magda wants. Magda wants somebody who is secure.
Yes.
First and foremost, somebody who's secure because you are so secure. And a secure person and an insecure person, as long as the insecure person is willing to grow and learn and do the inner work, it can work out. But I feel like you're already in an age where like you don't want a project.
I don't need a project.
You don't need a project.
I have enough with my dog. He's a project.
Yeah.
You've already raised your kids.
Yes.
First and foremost, you want somebody secure because you have so much going on. You're a business owner, you're a mom, you have a big social life. Like you can't be with somebody who's clingy, who's like needs that attention and energy all the time. Somebody who has like their own goals, their own stability. They don't need you texting them 24/7.
You need a man's man.
Yes.
You know the story about that, right?
No, sure.
There's 3 types of men. There is the man who is the child, right? The boy child. There's the ladies' man.
The ladies' man.
The ladies' man is every woman wants him. Every woman wants him, and every woman can have him.
I haven't gone for that one.
And then there's the man's man. The man's man is every man wants to be him.
Oh.
But he knows what he wants, and he gets what he knows. He knows what he wants, and he gets what he wants, and he's secure.
I like that.
in it.
I want that man.
That's from a movie.
Really?
What movie?
I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was like this couple that was like murdering other couples.
Okay.
And they tried to go after this couple. And he was like in the Air Force or something like that before. And he had like a plate in his head and they shot him and it hit the plate and he went into the water and he was the man's man. And she said, my man is a man's man. And then when he went through all that episode, he was like, let's get married. Like, let's stop playing around. I want to marry you.
Oh, I want that man.
Yeah.
Universe.
A man's man.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody who has like their own thing going on.
But Magda also likes adventure, so she wants a guy that is venturous.
That's
Not adventurous emotionally. Somebody who's like
no.
Somebody active is like, let's go kayaking, let's go hiking, let's go.
Somebody who's active, physically active.
Physically active,
physically active is very
somebody-
different.
Yeah, and I would say like money isn't a huge factor for you. As long as they can sustain themselves, as long as they're not looking to you for a job.
You don't want bags, in other words. You don't need a guy to be buying
I don't
bags.
need anybody to be buying me shit.
You love like peace, stability, adventure, good vibes.
Yep.
You're all about the good vibes.
Oh, I am, and that's all I want.
I know.
Look at the shit that I attract.
Like you're all about the good vibes. It doesn't need to be like a guy who's like super like
Is it
alpha.
that we attract that?
I don't know. I mean, and that's one thing that us men that we want to know. We want to find out.
Okay, ask us questions.
Okay,
know?
yes, because this is supposed to be a man's thing,
Well,
and I
it's
think
a-
we're
it's
making
a-
it ours.
I know,
again.
I'm talking too much.
Well,
Sorry.
no, what women want, and I know there's a
putting
movie
together
on
my
it. I
dating
believe it's with
profile.
Mel Gibson, but
Right.
we don't literally want to get in a woman's mind, but we at least want to know that
don't wanna be in there.
we're doing the right thing. Are we doing things that you guys are okay with, that we're attracting you in a way where, you know, hey, this guy, I do see myself with this guy. I see myself dating this guy. You know, Magda and I, we're single. Of course, we've attracted the wrong people, but you two are married, you know, so your husbands, what attracted you to your husbands? What got him that second date? You know, what is it that told you, you know, I really see myself with him. I can settle down with him and start a life with him.
For me,
what triggered that?
For me, it was the consistency. There was no games, because I know you do the 3-day. There was none of that. It was like
a 3-day rule.
Every morning I got the good morning text, but it wasn't smothering either. You know what I mean?
Simple.
It was just like no. Like if I didn't respond for a few hours, I never got like, hey, why haven't you responded to me? You know what I mean? There was never any complaints. It's like I have my boundaries and they were respected 100%. You know what I mean? But I knew like he was reliable, he was consistent, he had, you know, his career together. There were no like major red flags. Like there was not this like need for all of my constant attention and energy.
He let you be you too.
He wasn't like, you know, I post a lot on social media. There was never anything like, don't post that, or like, why are you posting that? It was like, yeah, I'll post whatever you want. I don't care.
Tons of photos of you.
You know what I mean? Just like very secure, confident, consistent. What about you, Sarah?
Well, mine was, I've been married now. I'm going to have an anniversary. How many years? 15? 15 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. In a couple days. He was, so I had gone through a really bad relationship, a narcissist and all that other stuff. So I didn't want somebody who smothered me or who seemed aggressive.
Right.
Right. And so if I don't answer you.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be texted and I don't like to be, my ex would smother me, and so it just like a massive turn off. So if I don't I'm not going to respond, not because I don't want to respond to you, but I read it and then phone calls come in and I'm busy. I haven't been able to see my mom in 7 days, right? And it's because I was out of town, I was traveling this weekend, kids and everything else. I will get to you. You're on my calendar, you're in my mind. I will get to you, I will respond to you, I promise. Just give me some grace. And so he gave me a lot of grace. He was never,
I love that.
Like, you're not answering me. What are you doing this weekend? What are you doing tonight? Yeah. And so, and he let me be me.
Yeah.
And I had a voice.
Yeah.
By that time that I started to date him. So I was very vocal about if I did not like something that you were doing. And I would tell him, you know what? I understand that this is who you are, but this is not something that feeds me. And this is how I see relationships. And that type of thinking is not in alignment with my relationship, what I'm looking for going forward. So I don't really know if this is really going to work. And then I remember when I said that to him, he kind of looked at me and he was like, okay. He's like, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. And then he hugged me and he was like, I'll do better next time. It won't happen again. And he did.
I love the willingness to adapt. Yes. And I think that's something that guys need to do in the beginning is set, like, what are your expectations? Like, because some girls want to be texted throughout the day. Yes. Not every girl wants to be left alone. So there is no like one answer fits all at all.
Yes,
because
exactly.
I like to be texted 2 to 3 times throughout the day. You know what I mean? And so Omar is like Sarah. He's not a texter. He is not a texter. And I'd be like, dude, you went all day without texting me. And he's like, I'm so sorry, I was so busy. And I'm like, okay, but you know what? I need you to check in with me. And he was like, okay, I'll do that.
Well, you have to tell them what you're like.
Yes. Like,
you have to tell them.
Even if it's just like, hey, I miss you, I'm thinking of you. Like, one sentence, that's it. You know what I mean? I don't need you to like send a whole paragraph. I don't need it to be like a back and forth conversation.
Or memes back and forth.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, we're both busy throughout the day. But I made sure to tell him my needs and my expectations. So I feel like guys need to ask the girl in the beginning, hey, I'm serious about you. What are your expectations? Like communication.
And your boundaries.
What are your boundaries?
That's a good thing.
You know what I mean? Like, do you like to be texted throughout the day? Do you hate to be texted? Do you like to go on trips with your friends? Like, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what we're both comfortable with and see if this is going to work long term. You know what I mean?
And that's what I want to know. I mean, you women are busy. You know, you guys have your careers. Are you okay with a guy surprising you and maybe I don't know. Do you all like roses? No roses, candy? No
I'm
candy,
big into
chocolate,
grand
chocolate?
gestures of it.
I love flowers.
Surprise dinners.
Oh, I
you know,
love
I love that. Yeah.
Show up at the
That,
office
yes,
with maybe
that should be a given
some,
already.
You know,
That
I
should
am.
be-
but because
Yeah.
some women don't like it, and then we've done it to some women, you know, and they say it's a turn on. So yeah, so
Yeah,
it's kinda
because
like,
every woman is
you know,
different. That's why
and
you
that's
have
what
to
I'm
ask
saying, every woman's
questions
different.
And I'm in
in
shock.
the
Like,
beginning.
what? Turn off.
yeah,
Because maybe it's like they feel like too smothered or like oh, this is weird. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
So my daughter, she's 23, and she just she was talking to this guy. She hadn't talked to anybody for a year. She started talking to this guy, and she said, "I'm not your girlfriend. We're just talking." Right? And she started putting her boundaries from the beginning, and her own boundaries, you know, nothing to do with my ideas, just what she wanted, what she didn't want. And she would tell him, thank you very much for trying to buy me something, but I'm not your girlfriend at this time, and it makes me feel kind of weird. So I'd prefer if you
Really?
didn't buy me anything at this time, right? And she told him, and he was respectful of it.
Interesting.
But then he started telling her stuff like, what did he tell her? Oh, why aren't you answering me? What? It's been 3 hours. How come you haven't responded to me? And she was like, this is making me uncomfortable. It's taking me back to a relationship that was not good for me. So I think we need to, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. I think this is not something we should do any further. And she blocked
I
him.
love that at 24.
At 23 years old.
23, I love
Can
that.
you imagine?
I love that.
Strength in
That-
your voice.
Yes.
Oh, lucky
But-
whoever finds it that young.
I think it's important to note that some girls would like that. You know what I mean? There's no one answer fits all, you know? Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
and that's why communication is key. Communication is key. What do you like? What do you not like? What makes you feel loved? Oh, one thing that we did before, when we started dating, we took the love language test. He took it, I took it, and we
Before you started dating? Or
like at the very beginning. At
Okay.
the very, very beginning.
And whose idea was it?
It was his idea.
Hello, that's
I'm
what
like-
I did with that's what I did with Marty.
Really, it runs in the family.
It runs in the family.
family.
We
Hey,
want to
that's a good idea
understand.
to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you know what your love language is?
I want to say.
Have you read the book?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Words of affirmation.
Maybe words of affirmation, because I really don't. I'm not too big on gifts. You know, even for my birthday, I have a girl. What do you want for your birthday? Nothing. I don't care for anything. I mean, it just. But I think maybe words of affirmation. What else? You know me.
I feel
best.
like
do
for a
you
lot
give
of
love?
guys, it's words of affirmation.
do
How
you-
do you give love?
How do I give love? I'm very cuddly. I like
Touchy.
to cuddle.
Touch-
Very
touch.
Touch and feel.
Yes. Touch
Okay.
and feel.
What was yours?
Like very effective. Mine is the way I receive love is receiving gifts.
Okay.
The way I give love is quality time.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah,
You
like
give love
spending-
with quality time.
Yeah, like quality time, like spend time with them, talk, like, you know, like that quality time together. That's the way I give love.
So if a guy doesn't fit your love language, is that right away to you? Okay, this is not going to work, or
No, but you
no.
have to learn
No.
it.
we adapt.
Yes.
No, it's not a right away, this won't work. It's like, are you willing to work towards it? And if the answer is yes, okay, then maybe we can work out. If they're like, no, I don't think I could ever give love that way, awesome. I'm so glad we got this conversation over with in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like being mature in your communication, you know? Like, no, I don't think that I would be good at quality time because I'm so busy. You know what I mean? And then
I am not good at quality time, and my husband's love language is quality time.
I'm good at quality time.
I am not good at
I'm
quality
good at
time.
I can try.
I
try.
I do my best to try. I do.
Does it upset him?
It does if I'm gone. Well, like this year, he was like, "You've been gone 100 days." It was in May, right? And I was like, "You're counting?" And I was like, "Okay, that tells me I need quality." So I set up a little trip for him and me, just to be a little
Yes.
romantic.
Yes.
So I know. I look at my calendar and I'm like, "Ooh, trip time with Marty." And then I tell him, "We have a trip on this day." I set us up a trip, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So then he has something
Yeah.
to look forward to, where
Yeah.
he's going to have all of me.
And there's nothing wrong with reminding your partner, because sometimes I have to remind my partner, like, hey, you haven't sent me flowers in like 3 months. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. And then he will. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, you haven't like surprised me with like a gift or flowers in like several months. Like, you know, that's my love language. And he'll be, and then like, without getting upset, like, okay, you know what? I'll work on that, you know? But it's
Because
also,
that is a love language.
yeah.
Yes.
And his love language is words of affirmation. So I have to be conscious, like constantly working towards like, okay, like giving him those words of affirmation because it doesn't come natural to me. So it's just like, are the partners willing to work together?
Because
you know
you do, what did you say you did?
Quality time. Yes.
Quality time.
Yes. That's the way I give love.
I'm acts of service. I will do for you.
Aww.
I do.
I'm a little acts of service.
I'm an act of service.
Yeah.
I do too much.
I love to do.
Sometimes I feel like I do too much sometimes, and yet you don't get that in return. But yet that might not be their love language.
But it's okay not
But
to.
you kind of feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes guys think, man, I did this, and still nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
I just think I just need to wait like months before I like, oh, you want me to help you find a job?
You love to help people. Like you love to help people build themselves.
Yes.
Like, even your friends, your family, like your relationship, like you love to help them grow.
My friends, yes. Now relationships, I'm not doing that anymore.
Even with friendships, I had to learn boundaries because I gave way too much.
You love to help and fix people.
I love to help people.
Yeah.
You do.
And I got burned so much that now I'm like, you probably need to wait before you give.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would purposely seek out people who needed you?
I would, if somebody came to me and said they needed me, I would drop everything and help. Like I have certain friends, like I'll drive by like a business and I'll be like, I haven't seen her in a while. Wonder how she's doing. And I'll pick up the phone and I'll be like, hey, I'm by your place. And she's like, I'm having this horrible day. I said, I'm on my way.
Aww.
And I'll stop in and I'll do that because I am, what can I do for you?
Yeah. Like, how can I help you? But like, do you purposely seek out people who need your help to make you feel complete inside?
I think I did at one point.
Because
I
that's
don't
something
anymore.
to look closer at.
Yes, I did that before. I don't do that anymore.
Good.
If somebody needed me, I was going to bring you up no matter what.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, give it a break. Like, let's let them.
Is it
let's
mutual?
see if they're wanting
like, are
to
they
do it.
equally invested in my friendship, or is it me give?
My daughter says I had projects. I didn't have friends. I had projects.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. My 23-year-old set me down and said, Mom, you don't have friends. You have projects. You need to learn to give time to your friends. So now I've shifted my life where if you're my friend, I'm like, hey, I'm in town this month.
Yeah.
When can we do lunch?
Yeah.
And that's where I give my time to my friends.
Good.
I have a friend that she'll be your friend as long as you're a project. Once you're not a project, she kind of like lets you go and she looks for other projects.
Why?
I don't know.
It makes them feel like complete or whole.
Well, because you
inside?
want to give. You're wanting to help. You're wanting to do something that gives you a high. When you're helping somebody and you see that they're doing good and they're doing better, it's like a happy high. I grew up in service. I grew up going, door to door, preaching, talking to people about the Bible, helping people. You know what I mean? Looking for people that needed support. That was what I did.
That's how you were raised.
That's how I was raised. That was an important part of my life. So for me, that fed me. You know what I mean? I think that's why I'm acts of service, because I was raised to give.
Let me ask you all a question. Okay. It's always in the back of my mind every time I start dating someone. Do you women have an issue with us men or guys that you may have dated having girls as friends or as best friends? Does it bother you?
It depends on the circumstances, because my partner has a lot of girlfriends. Like, he just does. But they're all, like, I've met them all. They're cool. Most of them are married. Like, they have, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't bother me. But if it was a girl who was, like, texting him late at night, calling him late at night, like, that's not appropriate. You know what I mean? It just depends on, like, the vibe. Like, your intuition, I feel like, is always right.
You know.
And you know.
As a girl, you know.
And you know when somebody
what
is,
do you
like.
mean by as a girl, you know?
That they've slept together or the girl wants him. Okay. If he slept with her, I would not consider that.
That's too weird.
Would you ask him?
That's too weird.
Would you ask him and be like, hey, you know what?
Have you slept with her? Because I get a vibe when I'm around you two.
And if he lies?
And if he lies, I'm going to know. I'm going to feel it.
And if he tells you the truth?
And if he tells me the truth, then I'm going to tell him. I'm uncomfortable with this friendship.
Yeah.
Would you ask him when's the last time you guys were intimate?
If I wanted to continue to date you, yes. If I didn't want to, after that, I probably would not date you.
Yeah.
Really?
I would probably not date you because I'd be like, this guy it's a play emotion. Mm-hmm. And if he still needs that validation with that friendship, then this is not something I want to be involved in.
Yeah.
My stability would be like, no.
I don't think I would be comfortable. Well, no, I know I would not be comfortable with my partner still being friends with somebody they had been intimate with. If they were to lie about it, I think that means I shouldn't be with that person.
Exactly.
I don't like liars. I like, if you're a liar, I'm never going to be relaxed around you. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm never going to trust you. And once I catch you in a lie, it's going to be
You become
really
obsessed, and then you're like, who is he texting? Is he really texting her? Like, it's just
Every girl he introduces you
It's
to,
gross.
you sleep with her.
Yeah. And like, in my case, the girls that he has introduced me to, I'm now better friends with them. Or not better friends, but I talk to them more than sometimes he does. You know what I mean? Like when I go to Austin, I'll hang out with girls that he has introduced me to. And like, I feel zero, like, I don't feel threatened whatsoever. And I met these girls through him. You know what I mean? Like they're just cool girls. So it's just like, I feel like as women, we just know. Like we just know.
I agree with that. I agree. I have 2 best friends and I've never slept with them. So I'm
Eli,
exactly. But let me tell you, as a matter of fact, Eli, this guy that I dated recently, he kept saying that if you would tell Eli, let's have sex, he's gonna say yes. I said, no, you don't know the relationship that we have. And as a matter of fact, what I was gonna do, because I was so angry because he kept throwing that in my face.
Who, the most recent?
The most recent, I was going to
Put him in the situation?
Put him in that situation. Like that was my plan. I was like, next time, just to be a bitch, I was gonna say, Eli, would you fuck me? Right? And I know his answer, right? And because just to embarrass him because of the amount of times.
But that's not that's a massive red flag.
Oh, it's huge red flags. Oh, yeah.
To me, that's a massive red flag.
But I've had Eli's girls recently, one of them called me.
One of Eli's girls.
One of them.
He's like, what's going
Let me look this way. Hold on. Go ahead. Continue the
He's
conversation.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. This person calls me asking me asking me questions about a service that we have.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And at first I know that him and her have a relationship. I don't know if she knows that I know. Okay. But she's asking me about the service, but then that ended really quick, and it turned into, why don't you and Eli date? Like y'all would make a great couple, and this and that, and she's telling me all these different things, and I'm like, oh,
she was fishing.
She's
she wanted to know if you guys were even
so,
considering it.
But that's in her mind. So what if, like Eli, you have friends that don't believe you that we've slept? How do we convince these people that we haven't slept with each other? Because now,
because there's been guys that she's dated, and right away, they just profile me. Oh,
you're the first one. You're quick.
Yeah,
James doesn't get any profile. It's all you, boy.
It's like, but you know, again, is it just because of who the guy is, or maybe is it the way he enters a room, or the way he's dressed, or what crosses?
Maybe because you kind of give off like
boss vibes,
playboy vibes.
But is that a bad thing? Do girls find that as a turnoff?
Well, you give boss vibes. No. I don't think you give playboy vibes.
When I get womanizer vibes, I'm immediately like, nope, not for me.
Yeah,
it's a massive turnoff.
I think we're gonna be really good friends.
Yes.
We're gonna be really good friends. We're gonna get along.
If I feel like you're a big flirt, if you're like always dating around, if you're always on the prowl for your next date, like, oh no, you and I are not gonna work. I'm sorry, like no. But I mean, I feel like I used to get those vibes from you, not so much anymore. I feel like you've grown as a person, and like now you just seem more confident, secure, like, you know, whatever comes my way, I'll take a look at it in a mature way and see if it's meant for me.
See if it works out.
Or
I kind of cross it.
But also, you're very well dressed. You're very groomed, and maybe that's what these guys feel like. They're like, wait a second,
threatened.
Like, wait, what? Like, he's well dressed. He looks like he takes care of himself. He looks fit. Like, you know, maybe and maybe that's like, Magda must have slept with him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, piece of advice moving forward, if she were to get in a serious relationship, you don't text her late at night, you don't call her late, like you respect those boundaries, right? Maybe make more of an effort to be friends with the guy.
He does.
No, I have.
Okay, good.
Oh, no, he does.
So after a few times that they meet me, or that we've met or hung out or had conversations or had a drink, then they've turned around and told Magda, oh no, okay, now I can see that there's nothing that's happened before.
Yeah.
But it's just that initial interaction,
okay.
where
I think it's a natural thing for a guy to ask.
Yeah.
If there's guys around, it's kind of like it's a natural thing when a woman to see other females around and be like, who have you like?
You
it's
didn't
natural.
answer. You didn't answer the question that he asked.
What did he ask?
Marty's girlfriends.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I have no problem with Marty having girlfriends as long as I'm made aware of them. It's like I tell him, I'll go out to dinner and I'm like, I'm going to go to dinner with so-and-so and this is where I'm going to be at. If he has a ton of coaches, female, they're all tons of females, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go to lunch with a female coach, you should tell me out of respect, because the last thing I want is somebody to call me and be like, hey, I saw your man. Because people call me, hey, I saw your husband at Starbucks. Hey, I saw your husband at this store. Hey, I saw your husband, out of random.
Yeah.
Right? So people see him. And he doesn't even know who these women are.
Yeah.
Right? And so I tell him, if you're going to go to lunch with a female, let me know ahead of time out of respect. Because when I get a phone call, I can be like, oh, yes, he's with Coach blah, blah,
So-and-so.
blah.
Yeah.
Right? Out of respect.
Yeah.
Why do women do that? I mean, are they just right away?
I don't think it's in a
Just let
malicious
me
way.
call
I think
No,
it's,
because they were
no,
just
no.
telling, they were just, a lot of women just share with me, like, hey,
Yeah.
I saw your husband. Like, it's,
I don't think it's a malicious way, because I'll also get messages like, "Oh my God, I saw your husband and I were on the same flight," and it's not even like, "What was he doing?" or it was just like, "Oh my God, I saw him." You know what I mean? Like it's not malicious.
it kind of like connects us.
Yeah.
Remember, we're connectors. Females are
Yeah.
more connectors. So we like to, hey,
Yeah.
like I saw part of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
shared in a part
and
of
it's
you.
not like a, "Hey, I'm gonna tip you off." You know, Omar's at Starbucks. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's just like, "Oh my God, I saw him from afar." You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know.
For
Unless
me,
you're
they're
doing something wrong.
connections. For me, they're connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you all first started dating, like how did you meet your husband?
At a bar.
We met after a hockey game. So we were at a hockey game. We saw each other from a distance, and then we all went to Buffalo Wild Wings afterwards. And he stopped me coming out of the restroom.
Okay.
And he asked me
so
for my phone number.
Were you automatically attracted to him, or what attracted you to him?
I wasn't really sure because I was sarcastic. I'm very sarcastic.
I feel like you shared that you introduced him to all of your girlfriends.
Our first date.
Yes.
I checked him out because
Yeah.
I had already been through such a bad relationship. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna see this guy play out from the beginning because I already had my boundaries. I already had my voice. So our first date, I had 30 of my girlfriends show up, and they're all my friends are beautiful and hot, right? I mean, I turn around and look at my girlfriends. I'm like, oh my God, you look so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
All of them. So I'm hugging all of these girlfriends, introducing him, because I'm like, there's beautiful women here all over the valley. You can have
Let me
any
see
of
if
them.
He's a looker.
You can have any of them.
Or
Yeah.
his
I don't
eyes
have to
wander.
waste. I don't have to waste my time with you. And he's introduced. He saw every one of them. Talked to every single one of them. But his attention stayed on me.
I love that.
And that was like, okay, check.
So cute.
And then we went to dinner, and I invited two of my girlfriends, my closest friends, to go to dinner with us. And we went to dinner, and the bill came, right? And the guy was like, oh, let me bring you the bill. And I said, everybody's on their own, please. And he was like, he goes, everybody's on their own. We're here just for dinner. Right? And I made everybody pay for themselves, including myself. Because I wanted
really?
a steak. I wanted meat.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
my thing. When I go out
Wow.
to eat and I know they can't really afford it, I'm like, I'm gonna.
Well, I didn't know anything
Let's
about
split this
him.
check.
I didn't want him to think I was abusing him
Yeah. I'm
by
about to
bringing my
eat.
girlfriends to pay and have him pay.
And do women do like the pros and cons checklist?
I did because I had a voice.
And do you follow it?
I do.
mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
I followed mine this time around, and let me tell you, I nailed it. Like I did. Like I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy that
I'm so
set
proud
my
of you.
boundary. Yeah. So
Yes.
this is not what I don't like this. And then he snapped. It only took him a couple of weeks. If I would have got along with it, it would have been a horrible relationship.
Yeah, y'all would still be dating right now.
Yep.
You'd be miserable.
I would be actually this Friday going on a trip, living my best life.
No, but you wouldn't even be looking forward to
No,
it.
I
You know what I
wouldn't.
mean? Like
My nervous system would be all fucked up, but in my mind, I would have been like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm getting a trip out of it. No, thank you.
Do you communicate with the girls you date?
Lately, I've been told that I don't communicate enough. And I mean lately, ever since maybe I opened the coffee shop. You know, I just
With a date, the person you're dating.
define date.
do you want
How
to be
many weeks?
exclusive?
How many weeks?
How many
Okay.
weeks no, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but Magda and I, we've had this discussion lately, recently.
I think he's in his finding his voice stage. His boundaries.
I don't mind being exclusive with someone.
And I don't know him.
But it just, it has to be, going back to our last podcast, do we have the same vision? Can we both come to middle ground? And where you said earlier, you know, because we've known each other maybe 8 years now, somewhere around there. And, you know, and I'll agree with you, I've changed a little bit since then. And I think it's more so since my mom passed away. I opened up my own business.
You've grown up.
And unfortunately,
And that's part of his finding his voice, is that you've grown up. So now you're into
But because
your own.
I've had such a wild life in my 20s. You're talking about, we live in South Texas. We have Mexico right next to us. So in high school, we were going to Reynosa to, you know, Frida, Agave Blue Bar, Dutch's.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah,
So
Agave Blue Bar, I had
14,
forgotten about that
15
one.
years old, you're going to clubs, partying till 2, 3 in the morning. So when you get into college, then, you know, you had Club Liquid back in the day.
Oh my God, that was so
You know,
much fun.
yes. And so you start
The backless
partying.
shirts,
Partying
why?
still becomes part of your daily life all through my 20s. And then going into my 30s, it's okay, can you settle down? Okay, now we're teaching, you know, now I'm coaching baseball, football, all types of things. Still wanted to have a little bit of that party life. And it was still there. And I think that's when you and I met as well. Magda knew at that time, like, okay, he still wants to party a little bit, but now, okay, he has this girl here, this girl there. Eli, what are you doing? You know, she would tell me, Eli, you gotta slow down a little bit. Did Eli listen? No. But then I hit like something that was just, it was an eye opener. And when I had this one girl that I dated for a month and a half, maybe 2 months, didn't even sleep with her, yet broke it off with her, started dating at the time. I don't want to mention names, maybe cross it out.
Cut that part out.
But no.
Bleep it.
Yeah, we can bleep the name. We'd taken pictures, they were posted on social media, and the girl that I called it off with just came at me hard. Very, what's the right word to even describe it?
Psychotic?
Psychotic would be a good word.
It was kind of like a lifetime.
Obsessive, psychotic.
It was like a lifetime episode.
And
it was crazy.
I was
Really?
just thinking,
Yeah, it
wow,
was.
what is going
I'm
on
glad he's
here?
talking about it.
A
Now
lifetime episode?
this is getting crazy. So, but then we
Did you kill your bunny?
almost. We still there, buddy? We got it. Okay, the 2 balls are still there. But, you know, then, of course, we go into COVID. My mom passes away and had some life-changing events. And that's when I kind of just take a different perspective on life. You know, Eli, you have to slow down a little bit. Slow down, look what's in front of you, appreciate what's in front of you,
Well, I also
the
think
friends
it's
you have
because
around
you got a
you.
business.
And
honestly.
then I opened up my business, and that just took a different energy from me. And
it's a different
It's a different energy.
Yeah.
and it's
so,
24/7.
you know,
Yes.
now it came time where I don't have time to date. And then I tried dating.
You don't have time for drama.
Then it was just, you don't have time for me. And then I ended up getting married in that whole
I was
little
gonna
scandal
say,
there.
I was like,
Dude,
Yeah.
that was like
That
the
was just,
fastest
you know,
marriage
You need to
ever.
write a book.
I know. I can, I'll have
I don't
over
even know
100
your
chapters.
wife's name. I don't even know what she looks like. Like no,
Well-
I don't,
Ex-wife.
that's well, ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
That's how
Yes.
quick. That's how like boom
Yes.
in and out
just,
it was.
And it was just, again,
And
something
he
where
hid the wedding from all of us. I was
I
like,
know,
what?
but
Eli's
going
married?
back to do you want to
No.
be exclusive? I
He's
think I
not.
was looking for someone at that time, and it just,
Yeah.
I was just so hooked to it. And then it ended the way it did.
It was about the idea
So-
of being settled in a relationship, not so much the fact that you were ready for it. It was the idea.
And this is where I'm asking the question, is it okay if guys that you're either married to or that you did in the past, where they have women as friends? Because she did see Magda as, well, why is she your best friend? And that's
Oh,
so wrong. And
she did not
I'm
like me.
thinking, you've met her and you've seen what's going on, yet it was still an issue. It was still
And
a
I
problem.
had
It's
a boyfriend at
insecurity
that time.
within.
And Magda
it's
had a boyfriend herself.
insecurity within her, I think.
So
That
it
wasn't
just
100%. She was.
it ended, and I didn't want to date anybody anymore. But now, getting back to your question, you know, okay, am I open to it? Yes, but I'm being very. I'll call Magda right away. What do you think? I ran into a situation where it ended. It put me in a predicament, and but it wasn't crazy.
Do you guys know about it? Is that why you're laughing?
No, she doesn't.
I don't know.
I know about it.
I'm laughing because like you find yourself in these crazy situations.
It
Like,
is, and that's my fault.
This
But at the
situation,
same time,
she pretty much showed you who she was, but you were, I think, stuck on the idea of what it could be if
Yes.
she would fix all these little things. And my, like, this is what I think is you found a replica of you.
almost.
But you are already
Almost.
kind of like toning your shit down, but she's not. She's still Eli liquid.
Yes.
Wait, so she wanted to be out and about like all the time,
Yes.
socializing, social butterfly. That seems perfect for you.
You would think, right?
You would think, but I really don't. I like to go out. Don't get me wrong. Who am I going with? A group of friends. Where are we going? Is it to dinner? Is it to dinner and drinks, or is it just drinks? But I'd rather go to work, go home, and relax.
He's maturing.
Yeah.
Let me buy a bottle of wine. And
That's where I'm seeing him head. Now, finally, I'm starting to see
Wow,
that.
Eli.
So that's what I'm telling Magda.
How old are
and
you?
Me? That's no.
You don't want to say? Okay, that's fine.
No.
Okay,
But,
that's fine. Usually girls
everyone-
are weird about their age, but
And I'm like super excited about it.
I know. I love how open you are about
I love
both
it.
of you.
So yeah, it's just now it's too okay. What do women want? What are the pros and cons they're looking for? And that's what us guys want to know, especially at my age, single, having been, through maybe not everything I went through in my life, but we have things that we want, that we look for. And
We don't want a project.
I'm going to tell you you have to find somebody who's secure,
absolutely.
and you have to find somebody who has a voice, who knows what her voice is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she's still looking for her voice, you're going to have to help her get through it.
And that's a project.
And that's a project.
I like that.
And so make sure that the communication is open, and you'll know right away because she'll have her standards.
So you guys listen to that
Standards.
right there.
Don't go for a project. I
Men
mean, when you're
and
young-
women,
when
men
you're
and
young,
women,
yes.
don't go for a project, even when you're young.
You have to learn
No.
somehow.
What a waste of time.
You're like, fuck, this is a project. Okay,
Yeah.
check out. I don't want this no more.
How old were you when you got married?
32.
So that was pretty young still.
You think
And
so?
she, yes, 32 is young.
That's old to
No.
get married.
No, 32 is young.
Well, I
always
think that was a
say,
perfect age.
like,
32 is young,
mid-30s.
but for you to already have your voice and to know what you were looking for and to have, you went through what you went through and then you were like, this is what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. So you already knew, you were already
Yeah.
secure.
Yeah.
So, and that's, that's when you
And
and
I
Omar
feel like
got
people
together.
think I got married old.
No,
Really?
I think it was a good age.
no, 32 is a good age.
Still a little young.
After
would've
30.
said-
Oh my God,
I
this
would
is
have
crazy.
said like 35, mid 30s.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, I mean, I was also with somebody a little bit older than me. I'm 34 right now. Omar's about to be 41. So he was almost 40 when we got married. So he was like, he was divorced as well. So he already went through his shit. He learned his lessons. You know what so we were both like already evolved into our best selves. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I feel like neither of us were a project to each other, you know? But I think I still go back to communication. Like, if you want to know what a woman wants, ask her.
Yeah.
Be clear up front. What do you expect from me?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid to ask. Like, do you expect marriage? How soon do you expect marriage? Do you
Are you dating to
are you-
marry?
are you
or are you
dating
just
to
dating to
marry?
date? Like,
And
those
that's
are
the
important
question.
questions.
and that way you know right off the bat if y'all are going to work out. And it's a lot of heartbreak that you save and time that you save.
It's like my
And-
daughter was like, I don't think I'm ready to get married at this time. And you seem more serious. So the guy she was talking
yeah.
to, you seem very serious. And I'm not really sure I'm ready to give you that. And I told her, be very open with your communication. And maybe that's what helped her get to where she was at. She's like, we are not on the same level.
Yeah.
You're too much and this is too intense. And I'm too young to be in this type of relationship.
I love that she's so
I
young.
know.
I
So
I
I'm
just
so
self-aware.
proud of her.
I just learned how to have a voice. Like I just learned how to say, our vision of a healthy relationship is very different.
Yeah.
I said, so I don't think this is going to work out because
Yeah.
that's how I ended up with the other ones. Like
Yeah.
your vision of a healthy relationship is not my vision. So I'm tapping out of this one.
So with me and Marty, when we dated, we when I told him this is not the relationship that I'm looking for, we had been dating consistently. So we would get every game. He's a coach, and so after every game on Fridays, we would get together Friday, Saturday. We had the weekends because during the week it was very volatile, right? Because he would work late and I was working late, and so it was just very hard. So we had a routine already where it was the weekends was our time. Well, his best friend came into town, and you know this, Marty. His best friend came into town, and Friday he didn't call me. He didn't. I knew his best friend was going to coming into town, but it still affected me emotionally that he didn't have the audacity to send me a message like, "Hey, babe, I'll see you tomorrow," or something, or "We'll talk later," something, right? I didn't expect to see him because I knew he was going to be with his best friend, and then Saturday happened. And then Saturday night, and then Sunday, he messages me, and he says to me, "Hey, the wives all flew in. His wife's best friend. We're all going to go to dinner tonight at 6." And I said, "Oh, I'm unavailable.
Oh.
I'm very stable.
Yeah.
I'm unavailable at 6 o'clock tonight. You guys have a good time." Because I was livid because I had been discarded. That's how I had felt.
Yeah.
And so Sunday, he messaged me again, and he was like, "Please, can you please I really want you to meet everybody." It's his best friend. And then I was thinking, okay, you're being selfish. You're being a little immature, right? Because I'm sitting in my anger.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is his best friend who he hasn't seen in like 3 years, right? Get out of your selfishness. So I went to dinner, and I bit like my frustration, right? And I went to dinner, met everybody, had a great time. He went home afterwards. I went home. I had an early morning, and then Monday he came over for dinner, and I had the conversation with him. And I said, "This is how I see relationships. When we're in a relationship, and if we're in a serious relationship, you should have had contact with me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to change who you are. And I don't want you to feel like you have to do that for me."
Right.
So I think that this is the end of our relationship. I think that we need to go our separate ways here, because this is how I see romance and love. And obviously it's not what you're seeing. And that's when he was like, "Oh my God," and he changed.
You set the tone right there.
I set the tone right.
Right
But
away.
sometimes guys feel that their best friends, especially the guy best friend, they got to pass, Jared, I'm putting you out there.
Sometimes they feel like their best friends what?
Our best friend, our guy best friend, if they're in town and we haven't seen them, it's a pass to just go
I mean, to spend time with your friend, but send a text.
But no, I get what you're saying, though.
Text, make a phone call. "Hey, we're going here tonight. Hope you're having a great weekend. Miss you." You know what I mean?
Yes.
Something out of consideration.
That's what I'm saying. But I also saw what he was at the time thinking, it's my guy best friend.
It's his best friend. He hadn't seen him. And that's where I was like, okay, get out of your immaturity, go to dinner, because now it's going to make him look bad. Here's your girlfriend that you've been talking about. She can't even show up to dinner. So I had to get out of my ego, which it's ego. I had to get out of my ego, show up, be the person that I was with him, and then have the hard conversation with him afterwards. But in a conversational way, not
very accusatory,
not
aggressive.
Just this is what I want for my future.
In a very mature. And I like that you told him, and I don't want to change who you are either. You know what I mean? If that's not what you're going to be able to do, because what if he wasn't okay changing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I didn't want to change it.
Yeah.
This is just not what I wanted.
But it was
in a relationship.
it was easy enough for him to compromise and be like, okay, I can do that. That's easy.
I can do that.
And I'm willing to do it for her. So.
And he has. He's ever since then.
Aww.
One time.
And now you're married 15 years.
Now
Man's
you're married
man.
15 years.
Man's
Communication.
man.
A man's man.
Yes.
Communication is everything.
Yes.
Everything. So.
And then be honest with them when they tell you what they want. And if you cannot give it to them, just say it.
Let them go.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Let them go. Don't pretend that this
Let
is
them
something
go.
you can handle. And then just blow up.
And then hold it in and then blow up later.
Or 6 months, a year down the line, the issues come back.
Yeah.
Because the red flags that you see at the beginning are the same reasons why you're going to end that relationship. So if you see those red flags and they scare you, trust me, at least that's been what's happened to me before. Like the same reasons why I'm complaining at the beginning is the same reason why we end up separating.
An hour in your face. Wow.
An hour in my face, I could still see.
See, that aggressiveness, it already makes me I'm already uncomfortable. My stomach hurts.
Oh, no. Just imagine just sitting here, just holding onto the chair right here with just so much to say. He had so much to say.
Scary.
I think that guy needs to quit drinking for good.
Yes.
I think he has an alcohol problem, or he doesn't become a good version of himself.
He's not
when
the
he
best
drinks.
I think he likes to indulge in pleasure. And he hides a lot of his insecurities, a lot of his trauma, a lot of how ugly he is through that pleasure.
Right.
And that's what numbs him.
Yeah.
That's what I took from all this. This is that type of person. He's numbing himself, and he wants to be a good guy, but he can't be a good guy.
Maybe he can't when he's drinking, and so that's why, like you said,
He needs to
stop drinking so he can be the true version of himself. Give himself some time to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And he was yelling at me, telling me, you have an impression of me that I'm always fucked up, and I'm doing this, and I'm that.
And
As
he's
he's fucked up, doing everything, and I'm just like, oh my God, he doesn't see it.
Wow.
He doesn't see it.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy, right? How do people not fucking see it?
Stay safe out there,
Yes,
people.
girls.
Stay safe out there. Just, if it feels wrong, follow your gut. Eli, it is a pleasure to have you again. Always a pleasure.
Ladies, thank you.
Always.
Thank you for asking us some hard-hitting questions, and we will see you all on the next episode. Bye.